All right, let me take you to a trip. And this is a trip that took us to the offices of AXYZ. Now, it was also sponsored by them. They demonstrated a great machine, a couple of great machines, but this one in particular has a lot of hidden little features in here. Now, this is an A-1212. Now, what it does compress water and sand to cut through actual different types of actual metals and plastics and other features. Now, it did come with a buddy, and this machine was a little large. It compressed pretty much the regular water into the actual system so it could compress and make the actual cut properly. So, we're going to take a look at it. I don't know the fine details on it, but we're going to let the rep do the demo for you.
This is where we're going to tell it that we're cutting, what cutting edge we have. So obviously there's a bunch of different setups and things we can do. The most common is 1440 and 1030. Talking about abrasive cutting. Our material, so it comes built with a material list of these materials, and then obviously back at our shop we have a lot more materials that we build with. And you're going to also be it's going to follow wherever you go. So I'm going to draw down to the material. I've already set up my type for this material, like you guys want here. So it's as easy as this is a piece of material. Draw down. So you're roughly almost ready. You obviously got to avoid those. You normally give yourself a ½ inch around your material for clamping and for the nozzle diameter, because the nozzle is roughly 200 thou. So I'm gonna come down here, down where I'm happy. Normally I do is jog away from our part, claim our prize. So I have this tabby. So a tab is something we use a lot. This is kind of at the limit where you can kind of take your tab off and you don't really need an extra tab. As you drop down smaller than this, our grid is 4 inches by 4 inches. So anything smaller than this, not tapped, has to expect to fall into the tank. So we just basically undercut and leave 20 thousandths of an inch uncut. You see how easy it is to snap out. That changes per material, right? Stainless steel, a little bit thinner, titanium, a little bit more, stuff like that. But this is our part, there we go. But it'll be total. As we go to the I'll set this back here if anybody wants to see it. Yeah, it's just sitting on the, we just have a
What was the time you said again?
1 minute, 37
1
seconds.
minute, 37 seconds. I got
Any questions on it?
Yeah, the G code. Can you pre-program stops? Like, say you're doing a factory and you want to pre-program the stop on the actual G code and install that. Okay.
Yeah. So we do have options to put stops at different points. So where the software will do it automatically, or you can actually just go into this when that G code pops up, and it's just an M00. So at any point in time, you can just type in M00 inside of that line of like a C++ program, save it again, and it'll be there.
Okay. Another thing, power, and do you have to ground this?
No, you don't have to ground the machine. This machine is 230 single phase. Machine is, the pump is the killer.
Yeah.
So the pump, this is a 50 horsepower pump.
Yeah.
This is 460 volts, 100 amps. 230 would be double, 200 amps at 230, and it's 3 volts.
Another question, on the sand, is there a cyclone to actually keep moving the actual sand from dropping down, or is it an option for that too also?
So we,
And a dehydrator too, maybe? Down the
No.
line? No? Okay.
so we do it, we have a electronic option that has a wheel that grabs the sand and drops it down in a meter device. This right now is the simplest device we have, and it's a diaphragm system that's stopping. So when you release, we're just releasing the air, and it's going through an orifice. The front gauge is just a metering plate over top of the hole. You afraid of like moisture in the sand, or?
Yeah, I've seen them where they keep cycling the sand around so it could retain the actual flow of it. You know how it's
so that-
gravity, but sometimes they got to keep moving it. It's the same thing with the actual pebbles of the plastic, the same thing. And because we're dealing with a lot of water and it goes back in there, I know you have that extra safety. They actually
We don't
add
have an
that.
issue with anything.
Okay.
Clogging up there.
I just-
We're constantly adding. That's why one of the reasons that is so small
Uh-huh.
is the fact that you're constantly adding to it. You know, we have 30 psi of sand always slamming into it and dropping down. We can turn it on; it wouldn't stop running.
Okay.
And we, like I said, we do have an electronic option for metering, but we only sell that when people are going to be doing a lot of low pressure gear streams, which are laminated materials and glasses and glass and things like that. Any other questions? Keep going. Is there anything else that you want me to like?
I got one more if nobody has one. Digital cameras down the future to actually print out exactly what you're going to set up in the future. Do you have that? Or is it available now to us as an add-on?
We have one on the machine.
Oh, can you explain it to everybody here?
Yeah, so there is an option. We use a camera, and on this, it gets mounted somewhere. I have a different machine. I have an X-Series. It's mounted on the head. And it doesn't matter where we mount it. Our software has an offset in it. So right here on this controller, right above this option, there's just a picture of a camera. When you click that, the machine moves and offset for the camera. And the screen of the camera comes up here. You can just jog to the corner. How I jogged over to the corner here. That's real nice and easy to do here. And the machine gets to 20 feet long. You don't want to get up there and do it. So with the cameras, it's normally on the larger machines, but it has a crosshair, same kind of as this. Put it where you want it. And then when you hit play, the machine automatically offsets the X and Y distance of the camera back to the nozzle where you would just look at it. And that just runs from there. So it's kind of the same exact process we're doing. We're just using the camera instead of buying a ISO.
We'll also use that in what we call plate alignment. So the same thing. You go to the camera with the crosshair. Say I throw, and again, it's great for large machines. If I've got a half-inch piece of steel or inch piece of steel, I throw it on the table and it's not exactly square, I just go ahead and tell it this is the size of my plate. I find 2 corners, 3 corners of it, and it will take my whatever program I put in that thinks it's going to be like this, and it'll skew it to there. So you don't have to go ahead and change the plate.
It's
Which, like I said, something nice and small, not a big deal. But if you got something that you craned in and you have to take a crowbar and try to move it, you don't want to have to do it. So
It's a cheat sheet.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Try to